Are the Jewish settlements legal? There are different opinions today. Some saying that these settlements are legal, some saying that settlements are not legal. Some people are saying it's Jewish land. Some people are saying the land has been stolen. So, the opinion that matters is God's opinion. It's His world. He created it. What does He think? In the recordings that you will hear on this channel, verses will be read and explained to you from the Torah. The Torah is the teaching that God gave to the Jewish people on Mount Sinai. God has only ever communicated one teaching to the world, and He chose to give that teaching, the Torah, the way, to the Jewish people. No other teaching or book exists that's truly from God. Only the Torah. We know that. We know that. The three so-called Abrahamic faiths of Judaism, Christianity and Islam have as their fundamental book the Torah. The Christian people believe that God made a mistake, changed His mind, and gave another teaching. And Muslims believe that God made a mistake and changed His mind again and gave another teaching. God, whatever it may be, nobody knows, as it's beyond our understanding, completely beyond our understanding. We can't even go there whatsoever. God doesn't make mistakes. If there's anything that's perfect, it's God. God is the perfection of the perfection. He is the source of everything. Everything happens according to His will. He wills it, and it is. Simple as that. And He sees the end of something before it's begun. There is no time when it comes to God. Past, present, future. It's all, figuratively speaking, the same to Him. He knows everything. He knows what was, what is, and what will be. He sees it all sort of at the same time. There's no mystery. He knows what's going to happen. So as He knows what's going to happen, why would He give the Torah that says that this is the Torah L'olam, forever, and I will not give another, and you, the Jewish people, are my people, and I will not choose another, and you are my children, you are my firstborn child? Why would He say these things and then change His mind and give another teaching? And in this other teaching, apparently He comes as a human being. If you know anything about the Torah, you will see that idolatry is one of the most heinous things that exist in God's eyes, so to speak. We know this because in the Torah, the Canaanites, who were the people who lived in Eretz Canaan before it became Eretz Yisrael, one of the things that the Canaanites did is that they worshipped idols, all different types of idols. And idol worship is abhorrent. It's not only abhorrent, it's offensive, and it goes against so many fundamentals of godliness. So there's no way ever that God, who is absolutely no thing, He's nothing as in no thing, There is no thing that is God. God is not a thing. He is whatever he is. And we don't know what that is. And we can never know what it is, and we can never understand it, so we don't even go there. But he has a will. And we know what this will is because it's expressed in the Torah. And we see in the Torah that idol worship is never, ever to be performed. Never. In fact, the punishment for idol worship is very, very serious indeed. Very serious. There's no way that God would change his mind and bring about another religion in which a person is an incarnation of God. That just never would happen. And if you read the Torah, you will see that the very idea of a human being an incarnation or being God or being a God is just completely incompatible with the Torah. So as we see that's the case, and we see also from the Torah that there was only ever one non-Jewish prophet, and his name was Bil'am. Now, Bil'am was a prophet who despised the Jewish people. And Balak, who was the king of Moab, tried to bribe and pay off Bil'am to come and curse the Jewish people. Now, as Bil'am hated the Jewish people, it's not a problem. He came to do it, but God didn't give him permission. And Bil'am says, and it's also quoted in the Torah, Bil'am says, I can only say what God tells me to say. What he tells me to say, that's what I will be able to tell you. And I cannot do other than that. So Balak and Bil'am tried to curse the Jewish people from different places. And Bil'am, as he was a true prophet, he couldn't do it. And in fact, the curses that he wanted to express against the Jewish people actually were turned into blessings. So there's only ever been one non-Jewish prophet. So the idea in Islam that there's another non-Jewish prophet is, again, incompatible with the Torah. And also, when the Islamic prophet, if I can say such a thing, existed, the time of prophecy had finished. The last prophet was believed to be Malachi, and he was the last prophet, and there were no prophets after that. Certainly not a non-Jewish prophet, because like I said, there's only ever been one, and that's Bil'am. Why was there a non-Jewish prophet? We know that there was a non-Jewish prophet because in the future, when the nations of the world will see that the Torah is the truth and that the God of Israel is the one and only God, they won't be able to say, oh, if only we had a prophet who told us, if only we knew. So God gave them a prophet, a non-Jewish prophet, and they were supposed to learn from this prophet that the Torah is the truth. So that is basically the truth. There is only one truth, and that's the Torah. The so-called New Testament is completely man-made, and it's completely incompatible with the Torah. The whole idea of the Christian book being the Old Testament and the New Testament together is like oil and water. They do not mix, they do not gel, and they are completely incompatible. And Christians who started to read and study the Torah, they saw that the so-called New Testament is completely against the Torah, completely against God's will, against his teaching. And so they gave up Christianity and became Noahites. So they're not Jewish people, but they believe in the Torah, and they study the Torah, and they are called a Noahide, a Ben Noach, a son of Noach. Noach and the ark. Muslims, they don't usually know anything about the other two religions of which they have to believe in, which are Judaism and Christianity, as they have to believe in those two religions. A Muslim has to believe that the Torah was given, otherwise he's not a Muslim. If he denies the Torah, he's not a Muslim. And they also believe that there's also a New Testament, and then God made a decision to bring another book, the Quran. So according to this opinion, and the opinion of the Christians, God made a mistake, chose another people. So this can go on forever, according to the Christian and Islamic belief in this. God could say, you know what, I'm not happy with these people, I'm going to choose another set of people, I'm going to give another teaching, and hopefully it will work out for the best. God doesn't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know. He knows. He might not be happy when certain things are happening. Of course, he's not. But he gave one teaching, and one teaching only. And that's that. So, the Torah is the truth. Study the Torah. If you can, study the words in Hebrew, if you can, because it will give you more of an indication of what exactly is being communicated in the text. Because you can have, of course, you can also study in other languages as well, but sometimes you have a word and its meaning is not clear, it's ambiguous. So we need to look to see which Hebrew word is being used there, and then that tells us exactly what is being communicated, what it really, really means. Okay? And I'm sure if you can study the Torah also with the Jewish commentators, because of course if you want to study the Torah, you've got to study it from a Jewish perspective. And what I mean by that is you've got to study it with commentators who were Jews, who were great rabbis, because these learned men, you can't study mathematics from a PE teacher. You want to study math, you go to study from a mathematician, a math teacher. You want to study PE, you want to get fit, you go to a PE teacher, or somebody involved in sports and fitness, etc. So if you want to study the Torah, you want to understand the Torah, you go to the Jewish texts, you listen to the Jewish people, and this is how you'll come to understand what the Torah is communicating, which means, what does God want? So I encourage you to do that, because I'm sure you'll find it fascinating, brilliant, and your heart will attach to it, and you will come to realize that this is the truth, the absolute truth. Thank you.